the other day I was driving back home, an error message came up on the car. Now I don't want to start the car up right now because I'm about to show you on my phone what I saw because I took a little picture. So what happened? I was driving, the steering wheel became really heavy for some reason, and to even turn I had to put a lot of pressure on. Temperature gauge was above 120, about to touch the red line. Now I was about 20 to 30 minutes away from home and I was driving, putting it into neutral, letting it roll, putting it back into drive, letting it roll, simply because this was the state of my car. So you can see I had an error message come up, battery charge, visit workshop, and that's where the temperature gauge was at. As I was driving, that was actually getting higher. When the car was slowing down, I realized the power steering was for some reason not working. When I came out of the car, I checked underneath, there was nothing there. However, when I opened the bonnet, this is what I found. I found my cam belt literally shredded to pieces. And you can see it's all over the place. Now, funnily enough, I'm gonna show you a video 3 weeks prior when I was sorting my headlights out, spotted this, and this is the condition that it was in, and now this is the condition it's in now. I'm gonna have to basically pull this all out, get it all untangled, and hopefully get this fixed somehow. As you can see, it's ended up all down the engine bay, all over here. A good look. Luckily it didn't damage the fan or anything, because I can imagine if it got tangled onto that, it would be an expensive fix. So let's get this unraveled, get it taken out from every single nook and cranny within the car, and then basically look to get it replaced. So thankfully, when I spotted that the belt was actually on its way out, I actually got a new one. It wasn't too bad, I think it was about 50-60 quid or so. So this is what the new belt should look like, and that's the current state of the one that's in at the moment. Let's get all this out so we can put the new one in. Pulled out all the old belt and obviously cleaned it in the engine bay where I could. This little bit where the belt goes around has actually broken off. We have to replace that, so that's going to be something I need to look into. Down here, the belt is still tangled around it. I need to somehow figure out a way how I can cut that off and pull it out because it's jammed in there quite bad. A bit scattered all over the place. I just cleaned that up, gave it a quick wipe down. Still see a few bits and pieces. I'm going to try scooping those out. Some of it ended up here, but I've given that a quick wipe down as well. Nothing seems to be stuck over there. There's another piece shredded in the back, hiding. You see some more right there, stuck behind that pulley there. Just gonna have to put some elbow grease into it, I guess, and just flipping yank it out one way or another. There we go. Hopefully this takes majority of it off. Let's just keep going. Still a bit stuck around the back side of it, so I'm gonna have to swivel it around. Might need 2 hands for this, but that's some more coming off. So that's the last piece of that, which can now spin around freely. Hopefully there's nothing behind there. Doesn't look like it. That seems to be spinning quite freely. This one spins freely, but again it's broken. Last bit out from behind there. I think I've grabbed hold of it now. There we go. That was a nightmare to take out, but it's out. Very good. So the engine bay is all clear now. I know that for sure because I've gone around, had a look around all the parts where the belt normally goes, if there's anything more behind any of these parts, and there isn't. Now this little bit which is broken here, I've got the part number for it, which is A0002020019, and this is called a tensioner pulley deflection guide pulley. I'm going to order one of those, figure out how I take this one off and how to put the new one on, and then figure out how the belt goes on. So I'm going to have to continue this repair job on another day. So once that piece comes in, let me order that and then we can continue from there. So I'll see you guys once that's arrived. Okay, so it's a day later. I've gone to work. Whilst at work, I've gone to Mercedes, and thankfully they actually had it in stock. So it wasn't a special order or an order which I had to wait for. As I mentioned last time, it's a guide pulley. It's A0002020919. Just crack this open quickly. So this is a fresh one. Now I don't know which way round it goes. I think it doesn't actually matter. Then I need to figure out where the tension bolt is to basically untension the current system. I know there's not a belt on there at the moment, but we still struggle to get the belt on because it's basically a tight knit fit. So we need to loosen a bolt somewhere, but we'll figure that out in a minute. But let's first figure out how to get this off so we can replace that. This cover cap comes off. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, just get a screwdriver in there, pop it out. That comes off, and what that reveals, that little bolt there. Now we need to figure out which T that is. It's going to be a bit of backwards and forwards going on here. So let me try. Is it a T40? No, that's way too small. Is it a T15? Nope, that's too small as well. So this particular bolt here is actually a T50. So get that built up. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Let's try getting this off now. Oh shit. No, got it. It was under the fan. Just gonna hold on to it, make sure I don't drop it this time. That's not too bad takeoff. Oh, it's quite a long bolt actually. Look at the size of that. Side by side comparison. Right, let's get the new one fitted. I think it doesn't actually matter which way around it goes, as long as it goes in. I'm just looking at the markings. This one has 2 markings on the end of plastic, where this one has 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, but I can't see 3 on either one. Yeah, looks like the same way around, so I'll just put it in. Main thing is making sure that it's right up against it. And now, let's just make sure that it goes through the little groove, otherwise it'll be on bent. Nice and tight. So the new one's fitted, and as you can see, spinning freely. Now that we've got that bit on, there's a bolt down here. Now of course, like I mentioned before, the bolt's not on there, but this is the tensioner bolt. And if you go into the boot of the S-Class, you get one of these, which is a 17mm. As you can see, I already made sure that it does fit, hence why the gunk on there. Let's get that on. It's a bit difficult to record and show you guys at the same time, so that goes on like so. Pull up or pull down. Right, let me just figure this out, because the last one I'll do is snap something. So all I'm gonna have to do is put the belt on there, pull it down, and then once it's done, lift it back up. Also, a quick note, that little piece there that I just put on, the pulley, that was £35. So that's the new belt. I got this a couple of weeks back, but I think it was about 50 quid or so. Yeah, let's get this plastic bit off. That'll be a start. Chuck that away. So as a point of reference, that is what we're trying to achieve. First step would be to get it around the compressor, which is this one here. I don't know if you can see that. So that's the compressor. This is the power steering thing, and this is why, because it snapped off, my steering wheel became really heavy. When I was trying to drive it, I had to use 2 hands and a lot of force just to turn the whole car around. So that's important. So let's get it around there, and bearing in mind it's got grooves here, as you can see, and then of course these grooves need to go around here, around that one there, because that's got grooves on it too, and then of course on this one as well. So let's get this in here very carefully, make sure it doesn't get tangled or anything, because the last thing I want is this snapping again. Onto here, around that and underneath. Now let me figure out where the vest goes. Doesn't need to go underneath this, it needs to actually go around this bit here. That will go like this, this bit will go underneath there like so. So once it's around that, we then have to bring it over this to the new plastic bit that we just got installed, and it needs to go around this bit and make sure that the grooves are going around the grooves, and then we feed it down, get it over that, then it goes around. Okay, how is this going to work? And because it'll be a tight fit, it will skip all this anyway, so let's get that on there like so. So that's around there. It needs to come up over the coolant pump and underneath the pulley, so make sure there's enough tension on there. Make sure it's lined up as well, otherwise it's going to be a big problem. So it's lined up from the top, lined up nicely from there. You take it around this and make sure it's lined up. Now again, remember, this coolant pump is flat, then you've got grooves on the other side, so as it wraps around, the grooves are on top, it gets back onto the grooves, wrap it around this. We're on the last bit, which is the tensioner bit. Now remember, this is the last bit you want to do. Obviously there's a bit down there as well. Down, under. Again, there's no grooves on this bit here, the power steering, right? So you go over that, around, and then what we do is we need to get this bit onto this, so just take that out, get it wrapped around like so. Let's make sure everything's where it needs to be before we get the tension back on. We have what we need in place. So after double checking my work, I've actually done this wrong. I've actually gone over and under, when in actual fact it's supposed to go from here all the way across to this, under around and then back over there. I need to pull it out from here, pull it out from there, take it out from here, get it under these grooves here, get it around this, pull on it, there we go, see? Now it's a snug fit. Over, under, over. This now goes around the tensioner, under, and then it wraps around and goes up and comes back around. Just double checking, making sure everything is on the grooves as it should be one last time. I'll basically tighten it up. That will get pulled in anyway. Okay, so now what we do, we get the 17mm, pop it here, push it down. We wrap this part of the belt over it. Now, it's actually come off the other side, so let me put that back on again. Let's try this again. Right, let me get the top bit on so I know exactly where I'm going. And then we push it down and wrap it around. There we go. And as you let go, it should tension itself up. I'm just going to double check by feeling, making sure that it's on the grooves, but otherwise the last thing I want is this slipping off. And you can actually feel the tension on the belt now. Yeah, it's tough. And I reckon once it starts it should basically fall into place. But before we want it to fall into place, we want to make sure it is in place. This one's in between the grooves. That bottom one is the one that I'm worried about, but nah, that's in the grooves. That's in the grooves for sure. Nice. Oh, I don't know actually. That one's stressing me out a bit. I'm just going to loosen it one more time and just get a feel for it and see if I can basically push it or if I can do anything about it basically. Oh no, that's definitely where it needs to be. I think we're done and we're ready to start the car. So let me just take this off. Don't want that being mixed in anything. Before we start the car, put the old cap back on, the little guard protector. Let's get the car started. Staying on the grooves, done. So that's it. The new belt is on, the new pulley's on. It's staying on as well, not going anywhere. I've been driving it for around 20 minutes. It seems to be holding up pretty well. I can't hear any knocks or scrapes or any funny noises. There's a bit of sun coming. 1 second, let me just take this bend. The temperature gauge is staying around 85, where it should. It doesn't seem to be creeping up. But if I put my foot down, it seems to be running relatively smoothly. So yeah, I think that's a job well done. I'm going to carry on driving around, make sure everything is fine, and then end up going home. So like always, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video. Okay, bye bye.